Good morning to all, our special guest, Ms. Raja. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second day of SADC 2016. Without wasting much time, I know Ms. Raja, you've just sat down. I'm going to have you stand up again. Would you please welcome Ms. Indrani Raja to the stage to give her welcome address.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for having me at this diaspora event. The great thing about this event is that it is able to bring together Indians from all over the world and basically put them in a position where we can discuss what's happening, look ahead, see what's on the horizon, and bring together these threads to see how the community as a whole can progress across the globe. Today, I wanted to touch on really what's happening in Singapore and the region in terms of international developments and what Singapore is doing to position itself as a disputes resolution hub. What we've seen in Asia is that there is a demand for legal services. There is growth in trade. The current economic situation is, of course, shall we say, a bit bumpy. But when you look at it in the longer term, you will see that there is actually much potential for growth. And Singapore is positioning itself to be able to provide legal services in that regard. Now, there are three aspects of what we are doing. One is international arbitration. The other is international litigation. And the third is international mediation. With respect to international arbitration, what we've done over the years is we've set up the Singapore International Arbitration Center. We've opened up our regime. Our regime is such that you can arbitrate in Singapore even if the contract is subject to foreign law. You are able to have lawyers of your choice, and you would have arbitrators of your choice. The regime is competitive, and it's open, and it's really designed to be user-friendly. We have Maxwell Chambers, which is a purpose-built and designed facility for arbitration, and that is set to expand. So we've got what is essentially, I would call it a triptych or a tripartite approach to dispute resolution. Each of them are different product offerings. Arbitration offers certain advantages: confidentiality, flexibility. International litigation, on the other hand, has certain other aspects, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So arbitration has been growing. Our Singapore International Arbitration Center has seen a growing number of cases, and it has been expanding over the years. But we realized that arbitration alone was not enough, and that you needed something more. And that's why we set up the Singapore International Commercial Center. We recognize the importance of providing solutions that were tailored to the unique circumstances of each individual dispute. And so, building on the success of the SIAC and Singapore as a seat for arbitration, we developed these additional services in the form of international commercial litigation and mediation. In 2015, the Singapore International Commercial Court, or the SICC, was set up to hear international commercial disputes which did not have any connection to Singapore. And what the SICC does is that it combines the advantages of a court with flexible features usually associated with arbitration. In general, litigation at the SICC will allow for a right of appeal, unless parties agree otherwise, joinder of third parties, which is especially important for multi-party cross-border disputes, and where cases will be heard by judges drawn from a panel of eminent local and international judges from both civil and common law jurisdictions. The judges are appointed in each case by the Chief Justice of Singapore. And the clients can be represented by foreign lawyers where the case has no substantial connection to Singapore or where matters of foreign law are involved. There is also flexibility in choosing the rules of evidence and less extensive discovery, and the option of confidentiality subject to meeting certain requirements. So basically what we've done with the Singapore International Court is we've retained all the features of the court, but we have also put in features of flexibility which are normally associated with arbitration. Judgments under the SICC are enforceable by registration in countries which are under the Reciprocal Enforcement of Commonwealth Judgments Act or the Reciprocal Enforcement of Foreign Judgments Act. Singapore has also ratified the Hague Convention of Choice of Court Agreements, and this will make SICC judgments enforceable in the whole of the European Union and Mexico. The Hague Convention will come into force for us on 1st of October this year. For common law jurisdictions not covered by the RECJA and REFJA, SICC judgments may be enforced as a judgment debt. For non-common law jurisdictions, enforceability will depend on the principle of reciprocity and the rules of that jurisdiction. So to date, the Singapore International Court has received 7 cases. We expect this number to grow as the region becomes more familiar with its use and benefits. So for instance, Pakistan is already considering enabling the referral of trade-related commercial disputes to the SICC under their draft Trade Dispute Resolution Act. Now, next to that, we have mediation. Mediation is an important complement to arbitration and litigation. In a world that's becoming ever more connected, businesses will want forms of dispute resolution mechanisms that can help them preserve long-term business relationships. Mediation can be that tool. Successful mediation allows parties to mutually arrive at win-win situations, incorporating a mix of legal and non-legal solutions suited to their different interests in an efficient and cost-effective manner. It's also confidential and can be used in conjunction with either litigation or arbitration. And that's why we set up the Singapore International Mediation Center to serve this purpose. The SIMC features an international panel of more than 65 mediators from 14 jurisdictions who are able to mediate in 14 languages. All of them are certified by the Singapore International Mediation Institute, the professional body for mediation in Singapore. Mediation at SIMC also comes with the unique benefit of enforceability if parties choose to adopt the ARB-MED-ARB protocol, a unique dispute resolution protocol which is jointly administered by the SIAC and the SIMC. Essentially what happens under the ARB-MED-ARB protocol is this. The parties would file a notice of arbitration and response to notice of arbitration with the SIAC and have an arbitrator appointed. The arbitral tribunal would then order a stay of proceedings to allow for mediation to take place under the SIMC. And if the mediation results in a full settlement, parties may apply to the tribunal to reflect the settlement in the form of a consent award. And this allows the parties to take advantage of the enforcement provision of the New York Convention. If the mediation does not result in a full settlement, the parties may proceed with the arbitration of the dispute or the unresolved issues at the SIAC. The ARB-MED-ARB protocol allows the parties to leverage on mediation to arrive at a quick and effective resolution, yet ensure that the outcome of the mediated settlement is enforceable as an award under the New York Convention. We will also be putting in place a Mediation Act to provide a conducive legislative environment for mediation to thrive. There'll be public consultation on the bill. The public consultation on the bill was completed earlier this year. We're currently finalizing the bill which will include a provision to strengthen the enforceability of mediated outcomes. And with this new provision, parties will, by agreement, be able to apply to the court to have a mediated settlement agreement recorded as a court order, subject to certain conditions. Our full suite of dispute resolution services, coupled with our reputation as a trusted venue with good governance, low corruption, and a strong rule of law, makes Singapore a very attractive place for dispute resolution. And we won't stop here. In this era of rapid development and unpredictable change, the needs of the business community will constantly evolve, and our services cannot remain static. We're therefore always looking to enhance our services and offerings to meet the needs of businesses. One such area is debt restructuring. As the global economy continues to face uncertain headwinds, intensified by difficult-to-predict events such as the recent Brexit, businesses will come under increasing pressure. Some will eventually encounter financial difficulties and find the need to restructure their debts in order to survive. Recognizing that there is a potential in this area, the Committee to Strengthen Singapore as an International Centre for Debt Restructuring prepared and submitted its report to the Ministry of Law in April this year. The recommendations put forward by the committee include enhancing our legal framework to complete restructurings quickly and cost-effectively and with a high certainty in outcome, increasing the availability of rescue financing, and strengthening insolvency professionals. All this will help to ensure that Singapore is well positioned to meet the needs in this region, and the government will be issuing its formal response to these recommendations very soon. In conclusion, let me say that the continued developments in South Asia bring change, but also opportunities for all of us. As a major business and services hub, Singapore will continue to adopt a future-oriented mindset in developing strategies to help businesses navigate and operate effectively in this region. So on this note, let me wish you all an engaging session and an enjoyable stay in Singapore. Thank you very much.